So the assistance that Gabriel was getting from Daniel was minimal, and it was Gabriel's ministry of intercession that was creating the legitimacy for the angelic intervention. Do you understand that? You know, I told you that prayer is earthly permission for heavenly interference. Heaven wants to interfere, but heaven will not be able to interfere legitimately until the prophet, until the intercessor begins to supply the resources of prayer. Then the activities become legitimized, and they can enter into the space and begin to influence things from their own realm. Do you get that? So the resources of prayer that Daniel was making available to support the activity that was taking place overhead was minimal. And the reason was because Daniel was ignorant of the warfare. So the angel showed up and said, you know, previously he used to show up in dreams and in visions, but he could no longer use that approach. He had to show up in bodily appearance. And the reason for that was because of the emergency. He wanted to upgrade Daniel to give him what he called what? Skills and what? Understand. Now you are following me. Skills and understand. When we get ready to talk about spiritual warfare, I'm going to bring this matter out again. The issue of skills and what? Understand. Now, the first question I need to ask Chief Donatus, how much understanding do you have about the spiritual shape of your family? That is going to determine how much influence you can bring upon them spiritually. Oh, are you there? You know, okay, have I gone too far? How much understanding? You think that life began for you just with you. You don't know that there's a long history of priesthood that has taken place, that has secured portals for darkness along generations, along the lines, along ages. And because of the principle of inheritance, you cannot be adequately dissociated from that context. The best you can do is to bring about a priesthood that will undo the efficacy of the things that Satan is doing and establish a highway for that which God will do. We cannot overemphasize the fact that in spiritual warfare, it is altar against altar. It is siege against siege. Because the altars that went ahead, the thing about altars is that if we establish an altar in 1984 and then we abandon it, the spirits that attended to that altar are still there. That's the problem about that. There's a sister here that could not conceive after marriage. Are you with me? And I was involved in connecting that sister to her husband. So she now came to me and said, this good thing you connected, there's a problem. I thought I had finished my job by connecting. They still came back and said, there's a challenge. We had to travel to that sister's village because I had to call the dad. I said, in my place of prayer. You know, we modern preachers are not likely to want to get involved in this kind of talk that I'm talking. It is easier for us to preach faith and speak the word. You must understand that my training is in the area of faith. That's my training. I was trained to be a faith preacher. But you know what? I study my Bible personally and I believe my Bible. And I've seen a lot of patterns in the Bible that has shown that speaking the word alone will not help people. So the Spirit of Revelation gave me insight, and I called the dad and said, from what I'm seeing here, I need to visit where you grew up in order to release your daughter from the bondage that has not allowed her to conceive. So we had to take my car, and we journeyed to the village. When we got to the village, I told the man, I said, Oga, this is not where you grew up. Take me to where you grew up. He said, are you ready to trek? I said, oh my God, that's why we came here. So we began to trek. We had to cross a stream. I don't know, Chief Donatus, okay, were you the one that followed me? So we crossed the stream and entered the place. And because of the altar that was raised in that compound, in that entire place, nobody could stay there. This is years. That was where they grew. So we had to now, the father had to, okay, where was the altar? He now said, okay, this palm tree was here. Their house used to be here. We are in the forest though. Where we are now is in the forest. This stuff used to be here. Then if this stuff is here and that stuff is there, then the altar is here. There was no physical evidence that there was anything that was there. And I anointed that place and made the decree. I said, our work has finished. She took in 1 month after that exercise. The angel said, I have come to give you skills and understanding. So what happened is that I was equipped with understanding, and because of the understanding that came to me, it was therefore easy for me to know the equipment in the arsenal of the new creation that I could use to detonate the premise that Satan has secured in that family that was responsible for the bondage. But we'll do a full course on skills and understanding. All right, let me continue my story. So the lecture, are you there? The lecture that the angel came to bring to Daniel, the lecture started in chapter 9, verse 22. But the aspect of the lecture that I want to bring to your notice is because this lecture continues from chapter 9, verse 22, into chapter 10, into chapter 11. Are you there? All right, so the part of the lecture that is of interest, which I want to bring to the table, because of the emphasis that I want to draw tonight, is in chapter 11, verse 1. And I, in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood. Is the angel talking? Oh, you're not following? The person talking is still the angel bringing understanding to Daniel. Do you understand the context? So he said, I, in the first year of Darius. Who is Darius? You get it? It's one of the Persian kings, the king of Persia. It was Darius. Darius was one of the kings that God used to support the cause of the nation of Israel. Are you there? Now, so in the politics of outcomes and events and political trends, angels and demons play a very tactical aspect of the politics of outcomes. This Darius was not born again. He didn't know Jehovah. But somehow God has found a way to influence this hidden king to accept to protect Israel. To accept to allow Israel begin to return this king. And because Satan knew that if this king was going to carry out that activities, was going to help the people of God, this kind of a king will be a target in the eyes of Satan. So in order for Satan not to be able to destroy this king, an angelic personality called Gabriel was the one that was sent to confirm him, to protect him, so that Satan will not have the capacity to sway him off or to bring injury to him in view of what he represented in the agenda of God politically to liberate Israel. So this is the concept of what we call the guardian angel. Did you get it? And I'm saying that those little kids that were just anointed, that were just blessed, Jesus himself said that the moment they are born like this, that they are angels, they are looking at the face of the Father in heaven. Because Satan wants to thwart the destiny for which those children were released. And that is why they are lieutenants in the angelic dimension that are allocated to each and every one of them. So we see an allocation of an angel. And this angel was saying that it was me that stood to confirm, it was me that stood to strengthen Darius. The same way we have angelic guardians. That's how they're also familiar spirits. Familiar spirit, are you there? So whereas God allocates angelic guardians, Satan also allocates familiar spirits to each life, to each family, to each lineage, to each clan, to each village. So these familiar spirits are information gatherers. They're the ones that update the data bank of Satan, so that Satan knows all the loopholes that exist through which he can bring his influence. The realm of the spirit is a realm that is open to a lot of research, is open to a lot of data. This is what this man did. And on the account of this thing that he did, this is the door that has been opened. In fact, if you go to the book of Zechariah, you will find angels with measuring tapes. And these angels are always active. Anytime you begin to obey God, they have more jurisdiction So they measure new territory. Your obedience has created more influence for them. When you begin to disobey God, they are losing territory. So the angels are very, very active in the morning and the night, because you obey in the morning, you disobey in the night. So new measurements, fresh measurements, and may you be stable. May the Lord, in the name of Jesus Christ.